What a beautiful name it is, the name of Jesus.
Hello there, welcome to my YouTube channel. I know I've been AWOL, but please do consider subscribing and becoming a part of my reading family. So, the latest book I've been reading is The Smallest Ones by Popina Khumanda, and this book just broke my heart, honestly. It broke my heart and in a way made me lose faith in humanity, in human beings. Humans are savage. Why are we so savage? What is happening in the DRC is undescribable, I think. Human rights are not even a thing there. In some parts, let me just say some parts, considering what I read here. I'm not speaking as somebody who knows what is actually happening. I'm just quoting what I did read about, and that is what broke my heart, and that is what I want to highlight in this book. So, this book is about Popina and her sister Ziana, who left the DRC after they were captured by a rebel group and they were led into cannibalism, prostitution, drugs. In every page, you think it got worse. No, it's getting even worse, if there's such a word. So, here's my review. This is definitely a 5 out of 5 read. Everybody needs to read this and know what is actually happening in the DRC. So some of the things that just shook me to the core was this young kids just playing in their village in the forest. 5, the other one 7, I think, and they got raped. Like, I actually had to check GPT this and ask what is the psychology behind grown men raping young children, not even women. What am I about to say? Raping young women. How do you rape a 5-year-old? How do you put your member in a 5-year-old? Somebody who's 5, like a small body, like I told myself I'm not gonna cry, but that just made me so sad. Like, how do you do that? Anyway, so after the raping, a rebel group, I think it's Rwandan soldiers, or they suspected that it's Rwandan soldiers, took over their village, burned everything, took some of them hostage. So they ended up in this rebel camp, and when they got there, things just deteriorated. They had to eat human bodies. They ate, so cannibalism. They were raped. So the young men that they captured from the village now had to rape their mothers and sisters and friends and all the people that they knew, so that they are initiated into being rebels as well. So the young men and the boys would be initiated to become rebels, and the young women would be used, obviously raped, and so on. So, like, I think this book was so heavy, but I think it was worth the read, so that a person just gets out of their own reality. Sometimes you think this is your reality is everything. And there is not. People are really going through the most, and it breaks my heart to think there are people that are still going through that right now. There's a 5-year-old, 4-year-old, 3-year-old being raped, being killed, senseless, and that just, okay, I'm deviating from the book now, but it just makes you think. Anyway, so now cannibalism, and then from cannibalism, she actually killed one of the people from her village. Eventually, her and her sister Ziana, Popina now, her and her sister Ziana escaped the rebel group, and they made their way to South Africa. But through the journey, there was challenges as well, to a point where she had to sleep with a bus driver so that she's able to get a ride. And what disgusts me is the fact that this bus driver, the sister says to him, why don't you sleep with me? So the bus driver wants payment because they don't have any money. So the sister says, why don't you sleep with me and leave my sister? I can please you. I can satisfy you as a man. And then the guy says, no, I want the small one. How rotten, I mean. How rotten, I mean. And I'm saying how rotten, I mean, because now, we've been saying these things as women. As a woman, I know a girl, a young woman, an old woman who has been sexually abused in some way, but men hardly ever know anybody who's a sexual abuser. So that men are disgusting, because how do you not know somebody who's an abuser? How do you not report it? How do you not call it out? For those that do, we thank you. For those that don't, shame on you. Anyway, so this guy says, I want the small one. And indeed, he gets the small one. And he even urinates on the small one. Yo, guys, Scooby. Anyway, so they make their journey to South Africa, and then they get to Park Station. When they get there, South Africa is not the freedom that they thought it would be, because everybody's busy minding their own business. They still have to come here and survive. So they get here, and then the sister eventually finds this person called Patrick. They think Patrick is going to help them. He's also Congolese. Kanti, he's another trash of a man, because he kidnaps them, drugs them, and then puts them in a cage where they become prostitutes. So they are men, guys. I know this already, but this book just took me to another place. They are men that pay pimps to sleep with children. A 4-year-old. A 4-year-old. You are sick. You are sick. If you want to sleep with a 4-year-old. Sick. Sickity sick. Anyway, while they are there, the younger ones, the 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 7-year-olds, Popina is 11 at this time, they're allowed to play outside. So the gate is open, so eventually she decides she's gonna run for it. She runs for it, and she eventually gets help, and then she goes to a home, and that's where she went to school. But life is still very difficult for her, even though she's now in this new space. Yeah, life is still difficult for her. The bright side is that now she's learning to read and write. She's learning Afrikaans. She's learning English. So she goes to foster homes. But the problem with the foster homes is that there's problems with the foster homes as well. The first foster home, the foster woman does not take care of them. The second one, it's another Congolese family, but the lady treats her like a servant. Anyway, so she's separated with her sister now. So she's constantly looking for her sister, and eventually she finds her sister. She's in contact with her sister, but her sister is a shell of herself. And I think that is what broke my heart. This young lady fought so hard to bring the little sister to South Africa for freedom, for learning, to go to school. And then when she gets here, life has already broken her so much that she can't. And my intrusive thoughts is like, can we know what happens with the sister? Can we know what happens with the end? As a big sister, obviously you always think about your siblings and you want what's best for them. So now I'm just like, what happens with the now? And that's all I want to know at this point. What happens with the now? Is she fine? And at the end she tells us that Ziena has a partner. She's dependent on the partner. She has 2 kids by that partner, but now I don't know what else. Is she okay? Yeah. Anyway, so by the end, Popina graduates. So she goes to Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University, and then she also goes to UCT. Like, there is a sort of happy ending for her, but is there a happy ending for the big sister? That's all I want to know at this point. So this is to women. I think this is dedicated to women and our resilience and our strength, and the fact that we need to be strong. Why do we even need to be strong? Because the world demands all the strength of us. Anyway, so I'm just gonna stop crying because Kubi. But anyway, Popina girl, 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5. Whatever the stars, you got them, because this is something else. Anyways, see you guys on my next video. Hopefully it won't be 6 months like it was. Hopefully I will pick up a book and read.